Hi my babies, you are now watching the Lit Stoop. So we're in February. January has come and went, and I read some books. So as you know, in my January TBR video, I actually chose to read just 4 books this last month. And here's my wrap up. Here's how that went. First, I want to say shout out to myself because I did read every single book. They were all really good choices. So, I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back. First things first, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. So I did a whole separate video on basically my review of that. Children of Virtue and Vengeance is the second book in a trilogy right after Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi, Adeyemi. So that book was good. That book was good. I don't have nothing bad to say about it, but it dragged a little bit. So basically, if you've read the first book, you already know they're fighting a war in the second book, and basically it just drags on so long. It's the whole book, and you are anticipating things happening, but they never really come to fruition. And so that was kind of hard to do, because by the time you get to the end, you're like, that's the end. That's the end of this book. So yeah, that was a little difficult, but overall I would still recommend the book. I think it's best if you just read them straight through. I think the time in between the first book and the second book really put some distance, and I really wish I would have reread the first book before I started the second one. But you should definitely read the series. I'm actually really curious as to how this is all gonna end. So tell me, you already know we had this talk, let me know when the next book is coming out. You can't just be teasing us every so often with these books. Second up, one of the things that I said in my January TBR and also my reading goals for this year is I want to finish books that I did not finish. So one of those books from last year that I did not finish was The Game of Desire by Shannon Boodram. Shannon Boodram Brady, you feel me? Shan Booty, if you guys don't know her, is a educator, a sexologist, and a YouTuber, a creative, and she made a book so we could all get our lives. It's called The Game of Desire. Now this is also funny because I'll give you my opinion of the book now that I finally finished it, but I am going to do a longer review. So basically, The Game of Desire is a book in which she takes 6 different women and she helps them go through her 5-step kind of program, and the idea is to get them all to a point where they're getting that top-notch high-end date, and then they'll be desired by really great people. Some of them have different goals than others, but that's pretty much the gist of the book. What I will say is that I loved this book. I actually listened to it on Audible, and so I got to hear Shannon really talk through it, and that was entertaining to me, though I think I will have the hard copy. Next time you see me, I'll probably buy the hard copy because I really want to highlight things and go through it, and not that you can't do that on Audible, it's just different. So I love the book. One of the things about the book is I would describe it as a new age. If you guys ever read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's a new age version of that, which is really, really good. I would also recommend this book to say it's not just about dating. It is about dating. It is mostly about dating, but it's really a book about how to be desirable, and desirable can amount to valuable or interesting or magnetic in different ways, and so you don't always have to apply the techniques of the book directly to romance. That's my opinion. You can use this book and apply it in all kind of different ways at work. You can apply it with your friends if you want to meet new people. That's what I really love about the book. Shannon also brings in a bunch of different experts in their various fields to help the women out, and kind of uses these 6 women to test out these theories and activities to see how well they work, and if this program and these 5 steps really can get you to being a desirable candidate for whatever. So I love the book. I actually have an idea for a longer book review, which I'm bringing in some of my good girlfriends, and we're gonna test out some of these theories. And again, not all of them are directed to romance, so don't get excited. We're not going to do the spicy ones per se, but we're going to do ones to see how they work in real life, because I think that's the point of the book. The point of the book is to be actionable, and so not just to read, but to do. And the last thing I'll say about The Game of Desire is, if you're at a point, one of the takeaways that I got from the book is you need to know oneself. You need to know oneself. So you need to really sit and do the workbooks and do the quizzes and write things down and really think about who you are and what you want. And that is one of the keys to being desirable just in general. And so that's what I really loved about the book. I went straight to the website. The Game of Desire has a website, thegameofdesire.com, and you can take a bunch of quizzes over there, everything from the Kinsey scale to your apology language to the 5 love languages, to your attachment style, and some quizzes, some info. Shannon has resourced from other places, but most of it she has recreated and thrown her own spin on. So if you did it, you should do it again. Things change. Check it with yourself. You feel me? So shout out to February, because it's love month. I'm calling it Black Love Month, if you know what I mean. And if that is something that is true to your heart, if love is something you want more of, then you definitely need to read The Game of Desire, and start getting on that. Time is ticking. Okay, so next up we have The Bold World by Jodie Patterson. So The Bold World is probably the last book that I read this last month. It was probably the last book I read last month, but I love this book. I pretty much don't have any bad reviews for the books I read in January. So The Bold World by Jodie Patterson. Here's what I knew before. Jodie Patterson is an advocate for human rights, for trans rights, queer rights. She is a Black woman who is the mother of 5 children, and one of them is transgender. So that's all I knew going in. I really thought the book was going to be mostly about that, but it's actually really a long, beautiful memoir about her life. And in that, I find that Black women constantly have the gift of reinvention. And so Jodie is really almost like a series of different women within her own story, because there are things that you learn and you pick up, things that you let go of, things you move on from. And so I would say that was very interesting to watch that evolution and transformation all the way up until discovering that one of her children is transgender. Shout out to Penelope, how you doing? And so I loved it. And then even just including the work and the activism towards the end, I really liked. It didn't feel like a separate story. It all kind of connected into her well-bred life. So I loved the book. I really actually look at it more as a book on, as a memoir on Black women, on transformation and things like that, and less of a book about queer, Black queer people, though it is about everything. It's about Black life. And Black life has a little bit of everything in it. If you know, you know. So, yeah, I love The Bold World. I would recommend it. I read it both. I actually got it from the library. Shout out to my Libby app. I got a library card. If you don't have a library card, you really are missing out on one of the finest things or institutions that were allowed. Y'all, there's so much going on. I don't think I'm gonna edit that out. But if you don't have a library card, you're missing out on one of the finest institutions that we are allowed here in our country. So yeah, The Bold World, Jodie Patterson, it's really amazing. And also just follow her work. You can continue to follow her on Instagram or her website or whatever. There's so much to learn. And if you interested in kind of memoirs, more stories, more narratives about Black people, about Black queer life, about Black family, then this is that memoir for you. last but not least, I read Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Cho, and that book was my fun book. I wanted a more lighthearted book, and it gave me all of that and then some. So if you don't know, Emergency Contact is mainly about this girl named Penny. Penny is like 18. She's a freshman in college. She has a complicated relationship with her mom, who is a single parent, and Penny goes to college, and her roommate is some really distant related to this very cute guy who works at a coffee shop. Every chapter is told from either her or Sam, the guy from the coffee shop's perspective, and over time Penny and Sam become each other's emergency contact after there's an incident in which you might need that kind of support. It becomes a really beautiful, it's like a love story, but it's also like a coming of age story. So it talks about parent-child relationships a lot, and friendships, and really like stepping out and learning more about yourself. And I thought it was so sweet. I really did. I read it very, very quick. It was well written, and it was really, really digestible. Like, it was just like a yummy read that didn't have to do too much. Like, I don't need to always read things about the struggle or about complex things for it to be a good book to me. And I really think Emergency Contact was a great book. So because of that, I'm gonna put Mary's other book, I actually can't remember the name of it right now, but I'm gonna put her other book on my TBRs in the future, maybe for March. I'm not sure, but yeah, those are the 4 books that I read. You can follow my reading challenge on Goodreads if you like. See my progress. I definitely have more reads to come in February. I'm super excited about February. I'm also launching on this channel some new series for all of us to get into, so it won't just be standard book reviews and things like that. There'll also be like more interactive book reviews like I've done in the past, and then more series about different things that include pop culture and literature at the same time. So I'm really excited for that, and I hope you stay tuned for that. Please subscribe to your girl's channel and check on me and talk to me about what you're reading.